Okay, I know that the title is technically not the correct use of POV, but I didn't know what else to name it. Basically, I've seen a lot of discussions online recently about Shane Hollander that I do not approve of. Now, I used to want to be a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, I'm doing electrical engineering, but I think I could still go into law, and this is me acting out that fantasy. Anyways, I did not like these conversations, and I'm coming to his defense. This won't be a long video though, because Shane has not done much egregious stuff this season. Well, let me correct myself. Shane has never done anything. Okay, that might be a little bit exaggeration to say never, but for the most part, I would say Shane is not in the wrong. And next season, I know I'm gonna have to put blood, sweat, and tears into whatever video I make trying to defend that man. But you know, this season, like it's only like it's really one controversy that I'm defending him from. Also, I would like to say I do not hate either of these characters. Okay, in fact, I would say I don't know. When I first watched the show, it was Ilya more, and then I started like Shane more. But I like Shane and Ilya for different. Oh, okay. I'm saying Shane more. That's not true. And then I started liking Shane as much as Ilya. But honestly, I think Ilya is still a little bit higher. But it's only because when it comes to personalities, I'm technically more attracted to Ilya's, but I relate more to Shane, okay? So I like him for different reasons, okay? I just want to give my biases out before we start so that when Ilya, because, you know, Ilya will be receiving his lashings this episode, but so will Shane. Because both of these guys have a lot of intimacy problems. Now that we know what we're doing, this is the defense of Shane Hollander. Is this mirrored? I think everyone who watches the show knows exactly what incident that this video will be about. It is about the tuna melt incident. I know, calm yourselves, okay? I understand, okay? It didn't look good for Shane, okay? It did not look good for Shane. I've heard the complaints. So what is the tuna melt incident in question? Basically, I mean, I think everyone, if you're watching this video, I don't know like how you wouldn't know what the tuna melt incident is, but basically they are having a beautiful time together. You know, I see a lot of people say Shane spent the night. I don't think he spent the night. I'm 90% sure they took a nap and then this was like lunch or something, and then Shane's like, oh, I have something in the morning. Okay, I think I'm 90% sure he did not stay the night, but I keep seeing a lot of people say that. I don't know. Anyways, so Ilya is being all nice to Shane, which is weird. Like, Ilya is, well, he's not usually like, let's just say he's more being like more of a caretaker than he usually is. And Shane is like, you can tell he's a little nervous, but then after they eat their little tuna melts together and have like an emotional moment and give each other handies, Ilya calls Shane by his first name, even though previously they had only referred to each other as their last names. Which, if you are not into sports and you were confused as to why everyone calls each other last names, that is a big thing in sports. Like, I saw people like confused. I don't know if like it's only a thing people in the West do in a lot of sports, but yeah, a lot of people will only call each other by last names. I don't really know why. The reason I always thought people did it is because, especially professional players, like football players, like I basically only know their last names, even though I don't know a lot about football, but you know, due to osmosis, I've heard last names, and that's really all I know. But I think that might be more of a Western thing, just in case you're confused about that. Anyways, basically, Shane puts his tail between his legs and runs away and then dates Rose. Okay, all this, episode 4. And I know, like, and it looks bad for Shane because it's like, okay, Shane, like, you like this guy and he likes you, obviously, but when he calls you his name and he's being all nice to you, you run away. And then like, if you're like Ilya stan, you're thinking, oh my gosh, Ilya, he's always being abandoned. And now, well, I don't know if you think that, but like, you at least know Ilya has like some intimacy issues, and you're like, and now like, he's finally like being nice to Shane and stuff. Shane just runs away. So Ilya stans are not into this right now. But here's the thing. Shane, let's look back on their relationship, because episode 1, like, I mean, they kind of get together like, what, halfway through the episode, so, and there's not really much, like, they don't even have each other's phone numbers for a little while, until, like, the latter half of the episode, and then, like, the biggest, like, indicator of it being weird is like Shane is a little more affectionate and Ilya's like, but you know what I mean? I feel like that's whatever. But then Ilya is in there when Shane receives his award, and Shane is pretty upset about that. And then they have that little tiff on the balcony, and nothing is resolved. Nothing gets resolved because, you know, they are both, say it with me now, emotionally immature. Okay, great. Emotionally constipated too, if you want to. You know what I mean? There are many, many different things you could say about them. But like, let's get to episode 2. Episode 2 is where the big trouble starts, because they're going good at the beginning of the episode, very cute, and then they get to the Sochi Olympics. I know. And what happens? Ilya loses, he's in a bad mood, and then Shane comes up, and you know what? Maybe Shane couldn't be less annoying. You know what I mean? Because Shane did come up and bother him, and he just lost an award. They haven't seen each other for a while. You know what I mean? Like, Shane could definitely have, like do better in this scene. Like, obviously, Ilya's upset, but I understand why Shane wants to comfort him, and he also doesn't understand, like, how bad it is in Russia for gay people. I don't think. I mean, I'd be surprised he didn't, because I feel like I've known since I was in, like, middle school, but I also have, like, had, like, a huge fascination with Russian, but I also had, like, a huge fascination with, like, Russian history and literature, so maybe that's why I knew so much about Russia. But yeah, I was surprised, like, I'd be surprised if he didn't know. Wait, that's actually not true. He did know, because he talked to the black dude on the American team, and the black guy was like, oh yeah, you must be really brave to be a gay guy in Russia. So yeah, Shane did know. And I guess he was like trying to comfort him, because he was like, oh, well, like, you know, like, do you even want to stay here? Like, does he do that? You guys know what I'm trying to say. But like, yeah, Shane was doing a little much. But the problem is the aftermath. The aftermath is where the biggest problem is, because because Ilya does not talk to Shane for 6 months. He does not respond to him, or, well, I think they do talk, but like, it's only in media stuff. I don't know, because Shane said that you only talk to me when they put a camera in your face. So like, I don't know if they've had interviews together and stuff, but Ilya has not responded to Shane's text messages in 6 months. And then he's like, he never apologizes for it, which I get Shane could probably apologize for how he acted in Sochi. I don't know what he would be apologizing for checking up on Ilya. Like, yeah, it was a little like Ilya needed to be left alone and didn't want to talk to him, especially because like, it's a safety thing. You know what I mean? Like, Ilya just didn't want to be near him about that. He was already in a bad mood. So I do understand why Ilya was kind of rude. I don't agree with it, but I can understand why. But like, I still think that Shane deserved an apology for him not talking to him for 6 months, and then all of a sudden he's like trying to kiss him in the bathroom and stuff. Like, I'd be pretty mad too if I was Shane. Anyways, yeah, I think Ilya could have apologized for not talking to him for 6 months, but that's just me. Like, don't come for me, Ilya stands, okay? Like, cause that is a little much. Like, okay, not talking to him during the Olympics, that's whatever. And honestly, not apologizing, I don't think that Ilya is the type to apologize, really, especially like at that point in the season. I cannot see him apologizing like that. But you could at least text him, geez. But you know, I mean, didn't they say it was well, okay, I know it was a safety thing while he was in Russia, but like, they were still messaging while Ilya was in Russia, right? Like, like I said, he couldn't just not ignore Shane, but whatever. If he wants to give him the silent treatment, he wants to give him silent treatment. And then later on in the episode, we get the infamous "we didn't even kiss" line, or not line, but like, we see it typed out. And that goes into episode 4 when Shane leaves, because here's the thing. I do understand that like, Ilya is finally thinking, oh, I can open up to him. But you know, we haven't had a conversation about that yet. Like, I know that things have been good between them, and it's obvious that Shane likes Ilya a lot, but I feel like Ilya didn't give as many signals about that he likes Shane, or at least I don't think Shane understood them. And I don't blame him for not understanding it, because like I said, Ilya's not telling him. Like, when Ilya's talking to him about like, oh yeah, do you like girls? Like, I think Shane's not really thinking, oh, he's like trying to see if I'm seeing anybody else. At least I think that's what Ilya was trying to do with that. I don't know. See, it's even not clear to me. But again, I have bad emotional intelligence, so, which is why I'm not in a relationship. So, but anyways, so all of a sudden, like, After years of Ilya being on and off, hot and cold, now all of a sudden he's like being super nice to Shane. Obviously, Shane is gonna be like freaked out by that because here's the thing. It's been, like I said, it's been on and off for years with him being kind of like, I get that they're rivals and F buddies or whatever, but like, but like, he's still being really hot or cold. You know what I mean? Like, because I thought that they were at least like friendly. You can see them messaging each other a lot. So they definitely do kind of talk a lot about stuff. And he's like hot and cold randomly with Shane when he's all of a sudden really nice. I think, at least the way I interpreted the scene was like, it's one of those things where he didn't want to start caring more for Ilya, and then Ilya just drops him again when the next time he's upset. You know what I mean? Which I feel like is a fair reasoning. I don't know. I've heard different people interpret different things from it. I feel like for the most part, that's generally what it is, right? Like, Ilya has kind of been like a little hot or cold, which is fine because they're not in a relationship. But then I don't think it's unreasonable for Shane to not want to keep getting close to him, because I feel like Shane definitely, like, he was super into him from the beginning. And I think I'm one of those people who thinks that like they were always into each other a lot more than they let on at like when the show first started, like even when they first met, which I think Ilya says. So I do think that like Ilya always liked him, but it wasn't as obvious as Shane liking Ilya was. Like, I think Ilya could definitely tell that Shane was pretty into him, and but he thought it could never work because of all the Russia crap or whatever. But yeah, so I do not blame Shane for pulling away because he already knows Ilya could date a girl whenever he wants to, and I think Shane probably knows in the back of his head he couldn't, but like he didn't know for sure. So it's already that. And then he knows that Ilya has Svetlana, like, and he's sleeping around with girls a lot. So like it's not, I don't know why would he feel like comfortable enough to be super intimate with Ilya when he doesn't know the next time Ilya's gonna drop him and stuff. And again, I like Ilya, so I know Ilya was not gonna drop Shane, and he was super into him. And I felt really bad and I feel like it does make sense for people to feel really bad for Ilya, because you learn like later on about like how basically everyone who loves him kind of abandons him and stuff. Like his mom doesn't have a good relationship with his dad, terrible with his brother. I was looking up and it seems like most people kind of understand why Shane did it, because usually if I watched a romance movie and like when the characters finally getting to like each other and the other character was like, no, I can't, and like runs away, I would be super, super mad. Like I would, like, that would make me so mad. But honestly, when I watched it, I was like, well, yeah, he did that because of how you've been talking to him, Ilya. Like, that's crazy. And I think a lot of other people were like that too, because I haven't seen, when I was looking in the depths, okay, guys, like I was looking on Reddit for people talking about Shane, for like, because I like to argue, but I have to have arguments against, and I want to understand other people's arguments. And I didn't even find that many. So it was more so people like feeling bad for Ilya, but they didn't really seem to discount why Shane did it. But I have seen some talkings online about it, and I didn't approve of them. Anyways, one very common thing that I saw that I thought was really weird was people being like, oh, well, Shane literally says in episode 2, why didn't we kiss? And then when Ilya is being lovey-dovey with him, he pulled away. Like, that doesn't make any sense. How does that not make any sense? First of all, that was years ago. I'm pretty sure in between episode 2 and 4, well, okay, like, because 3 is Scott and Kip, so that doesn't really count. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? Like, that, first of all, that was 2 years ago, I think, about that, like, when, of Shane wanting Ilya to kiss him, and obviously they worked through that, but I feel like to Shane, that's him learning, like, oh, okay, so, like, we're really not gonna be a couple. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, at the time he's upset that they don't want to kiss, but that's him learning, like, okay, well, I guess then we're not in a relationship like that, and I have to get used to that. So like that's such a stupid, I don't know. I thought that was a stupid argument. Like, another interesting argument I've actually also been seeing, like, because I'm trying to look for more arguments other than that one, because that one is low-key, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that was really easy to argue against. It's like, well, why did Shane run away if he wanted to be in a relationship with Ilya? Because he learned that Ilya wasn't thinking about him like that, or at least that's what he thought in his brain. But somebody else said that when this person was more confused than anything, but they were talking about how it's really sad because Ilya was trying to fix it, but he's not, like, he's pleading with Shane to stay, but he can't bring himself to express it. And yeah, I agree, like, that's what's really sad, is that, like, Ilya obviously really likes Shane but doesn't know how to express it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, but that's also not, like, that's both of them being bad, you know what I mean? Like, that's both of them not communicating well. And I'm not gonna say it's all Ilya's fault, because it's not. But, you know, it's like, I feel like anyone should be able to see why Shane is a little, like, weird about it. Okay, my closing argument is Shane ran away because he was scared of getting his heart broken by getting even closer to Ilya, after Ilya has low-key kind of shown Shane that they will never be anything more than what they are, and Ilya can just kind of leave whenever he wants to. But like I said, this is not me hating Ilya, okay? Because that's not what Ilya is trying to do. Okay, he's not good at this. But so I do not blame him for making some mistakes. But also that means we cannot blame Shane for running away during the scene, because I feel like most people would be like, okay, like, you're being really nice, and it's been a while. And low-key, in real life, like, some people do just kind of do that, and they just pull back and pull forward, like, forever, and that's definitely not what Ilya is doing. I'm just saying that some people actually do that in relationships, so, like, it's not, like, weird for somebody to assume that's maybe what somebody else is doing, especially if they haven't communicated properly, which is the fault of both of them, okay? They both need to communicate more. I'm just glad this video doesn't have to be too long, because I have seen people complain about it, but I just know people are going to eat Shane up for next season. Like, but you know what? I will defend Shane, because I already know everything that happens in the second. Okay, I'm saying the second season. I guess I don't really know what's going to happen in the second season, but I know what happens in their second book. And you know what? I still think I can defend Shane's honor from basically all those charges. Sorry this video isn't very well organized. I am sick, but I'm going to South Korea soon, so I can't really film this as well as I would like to. But you know what? It's okay, because like I said, I don't have much to defend this time. But next time, I will be putting blood, sweat, and tears into that argument. Because, you know, I feel like I'm going to have to really try to defend him. Whoa, I just glitched. I'm going to have to really try hard to defend myself. Also, one thing I've been seeing that I think is weird is that a lot of people think that Shane is boring and they don't like him. Like, okay, just say you hate autistic people, say you hate gay people, say you hate Asians. Boom.